It's time for Mac Geek Gab, and Ben brings us our quick tip of the week. He says, I find it more pleasant and personal to receive email addressed to my name rather than just to my email address. However, when composing a message in mail to someone who isn't in my contacts or previous recipients, such as by clicking an email link in another email or on a website, I likely end up with only the address in the to field. Thus, if I know the person or company's name, I'm likely to edit it so that they get the pleasant experience of receiving an email to their name, too. To do this, in Mail on the Mac, I have smart addresses enabled in Mail Settings Viewing. And in the past, I'd right-click or click on the pop-up menu on the recipient tile and choose Edit Address. Then I'd place the cursor at the beginning, type their name, a space, and then the left angle bracket to enclose the email address, move the cursor to the end of the email address, and type a right angle bracket to close the email to fully form this name, space, bracket, email, bracket, and then press return. And he says, I just discovered a slightly easier approach. When composing in Mail on macOS 26, he says it could be that it works in prior OSs. I don't know. I found I can skip the closing angle bracket. Instead, I just type the name, the space, then opening angle bracket, and press return. Mail figures out the rest. The same works when adding a recipient. No need to type a closing angle bracket after typing the rest. Notably, while it's possible to type name and address in this form from scratch in an email on iOS, there's no way to edit an existing address that he has found to insert or change the attached name. More quick tips like this, plus your questions answered today on Mac Geek Gab 1142 for Monday, May 18th. Send an electronic greeting card day 2026. Woohoo! Greetings, folks, and welcome to Mac Geek Gab, the show where you send in tips like that and we share them. You send in questions and we try to answer them. You send in cool stuff found and we share those too. The goal being that each and every one of us gets to learn at least 5 new things every single time we get together. Our sponsors for this episode include gusto.com/MGG, where you can go to get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. Shopify.com/MGG, where you can sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today. And keepersecurity.com/MGG, which is where you can get 60% off of their personal and family plans, and it's only for you. We'll talk more about each of those in depth in a little bit. For now, back here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here in Missouri, I'm Adam Christensen.
And here also in New Hampshire, where I think winter's trying to hang on, Dave. It's doing its level best.
It sure is.
Pilot Pete. I got to ask again. Did you mention the giveaway? I'm not listening, I swear.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we do at macgeekgab.com/giveaway. You can sign up to win that Function 101 Apple TV button remote for the month of May, and then we will give away, I believe we're giving away 3 of them, if memory serves. So you got to be in it to win it, and you can enter multiple times. There's instructions on how to qualify for multiple entries and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Hey, can I ask a question about the opening quick tip?
Please do.
If I were to attach a name to your email address, do you see what I attach to it?
Yeah. I mean, yes, possibly. It depends on your email client, but yeah. If the email is sent to a name, you mail, depending on how you have mail configured, you can have it set to only show you names, only show you addresses, or to show you both, right? And so there's a lot of bonus quick tips like embedded in that one thing. But yeah,
I guess I should be careful, and so should you folks, because I thought that was only for me. What I
no, I have. I ran. Yeah, don't get caught. No, that's actually really good, because if you have a nickname assigned to someone in your messages or in your contacts, sorry, and you send that person an email, that nickname will go out. And I have a nickname for my daughter, and I put it in the thing, and I love it because I get to see her nickname appear like in my messages and all this stuff, and I love it. And then I hired her at Backbeat Media, and I realized I was sending messages out to, and so I added her backbeatmedia.com address to her contact record, and, proud day, and she's crushing it. She's doing great. She's been with us for a couple of years now. And then I realized, oh, crap, my Mac does fine with this, but my iPhone was embedding her nickname into company emails too. And it was like, yeah, probably need to do something about that. So I think my solution for that was to create 2 separate contact records for her. So that I had, obviously there's a million different ways you can do it, but yeah. So
it just never occurred to me that other people were seeing what I was attaching to email addresses on the phone.
Yeah, let me look. No, what I did was I changed the setting on my iPhone to not use nicknames. That's what I did. I have 1 contact record. Your Mac, the Mac is like totally capable of living in both worlds simultaneously. The iPhone is not. So I had to turn off nicknames in the iPhone, and I believe I forget where it is. It's in mail settings. It's or contact settings. It might be in contacts settings. Yeah. Let's see. Let's say it's show. Yeah. Short name. There. If you go into settings, contacts, short name. This is on your iPhone. You can turn that on and off, and the short name can be first name only, last name only. First name, last initial, last name, and then there is a toggle, prefer nicknames. And I had to turn off prefer nicknames. So you don't show up on my Mac, you show up as Pilot Pete. Yeah. On my phone, you show up as Pete. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is kind of a shame. I wish I could, I don't know. Anyway, it is.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do, either. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Because my daughter's call sign is probably something I should take off emails then that go to other people as well.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. It's. I wish I could just turn it off for mail.
Yeah. People misunderstand boozer. It has nothing to do with drink or booze.
Right. Right.
That's what I've always called her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sending corporate emails to Goose Girl is not really the right thing. So, but yet there you go. So, which started because she was a silly goose when she was, a baby or whatever. Like, it happens. She had so many nicknames. It was ridiculous. And I'm not going to share any more of them here.
Right.
I've already overstepped. Adam, how you're traveling? We can all. You mentioned you're somewhere else. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in Missouri visiting my mom, dealing with some house stuff, and we had to kind of go last minute. So the cat's with us, and it's all kinds of fun.
You had room to bring the cat, but not your microphone.
I didn't even. Again, it was last minute, not really expected, and I wasn't thinking. I wasn't even sure I was going to be on the show because the internet here can be so unreliable and bad. But luckily, the hotel has something decent. So
that's good.
Speak clearly into the cat's tail, and
that's right. Yeah, that's right. My travels last week taught me something. I have a note we have a pre-flight checklist. Anybody who joins the live stream knows this. And one of the things I've learned over the years to do in my pre-flight checklist is to disable low power mode on my laptop. Because we're doing a lot, right? There's real-time audio processing happening, video happening now, and low power mode kind of slows down the CPU. And we found it causing all kinds of issues. My Mac would just wedge. And so I have it on the pre-flight checklist to turn off low power mode. And yes, you can have it. I know there's a setting that says only turn it on when it's on battery. I have found that setting to be a liar, a dirty, stinking liar. Even when I'm plugged in, I have seen it start throttling. And when I turn off low power mode, magically it gets better. So I just turn it off. I don't know if that issue still is there, but, fool me once. And I left it off. And I realized how much faster my M2 Air is than I thought it was. I have had low power mode on when on battery kind of as my default ever since I got that computer. But it's been a few years, and operating system demands increase in that time. Application demands increase in that time. And I can't imagine. I'm sure the day will come when I will choose to turn low power mode on temporarily for some reason on my laptop, probably because I'm, needing to squeeze every ounce of battery life out of it because I'm in a non-battery scenario. Although even that, we have portable batteries. So I've turned off low power mode, and the laptop it's like I got a new laptop sitting there on my couch at night because I'm never using it plugged in. I'm always using it unplugged. The only time I use a laptop when it's plugged in is either on the couch if it's dead and I need to have it tethered, or in a hotel room, right? And it really feels like I got a new laptop turning off low power mode. And I can't recommend this enough. Adam, I saw you nodding as I started talking about this. Is this something you have been practicing?
I don't know if I've actually experienced it. I was just nodding, it was, thinking about it now that you're saying it. It's like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense, that would be the case. It's
yeah,
of course.
Of course. Well, it's very noticeable to me is the thing. And I don't remember that being the case in the past. So either the demands that I am putting on this computer now are different than they were, or it was so much faster than my previous laptop that I didn't really notice. I don't know what part of my frog got boiled here, but it's remarkably noticeable. So, yeah. Did I lose you guys? I didn't lose any.
No.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right.
I'm just muted because there's some kind of noise going on.
Okay. All right. Yeah, your audio's been pretty good. Obviously, it sounds like you're on a different microphone because guess what? You're on a different microphone. But yeah, no, it's been pretty good. The other thing that's worth a slightly more than honorable mention in this conversation is App Tamer. App Tamer is an app that was initially developed for Intel Macs to help prioritize background processes to their background priority better than Apple does, and therefore leave more CPU space for your foreground processes. And Apple stuff does that, and it does it fine. But if you know better, listen, while I'm recording a podcast, for example, I don't want Spotlight to ever start firing up and doing its thing, or I don't want Contacts D to re-index the world. App Tamer is great for that. When an app is in the back, you can set it so that when an app is in the background and you do it app by app, and you can have it throttle the app down, throttle it when it gets to more than 20% or more than 10% or more than 30% or whatever. And it's a nerd tool for sure, but man, it is fantastic. So I highly recommend App Tamer as well. So
cool.
That's what I have to say about that. But yeah, be aware of low power mode. Not beware, but just be aware. Yeah. So, Pete, we got another quick tip?
I do. So this actually came out of a question, and hopefully I'm not insulting the questioner's intelligence, but this is a quick tip for everybody, because I went, oh, this is something I use all the time, and I don't know when I learned it. Larry wrote in, he says, today I called an advisor and actually had to go, went and talked to his advisor, and he came back and said that the reason Siri is not working well for him on voice activation in CarPlay is it's not meant to be used with CarPlay. Larry rightfully waved the Bravo Sierra flag on that. And then he said what kind of car he had, and I did some research, and his works the same as me. If you short press on your steering wheel voice command button, it activates the Uconnect voice and your car's voice commands. But if you long press that voice command button on your steering wheel, most cars will activate the S lady, so you don't have to yell at her, throw your phone out the window, or any of that good stuff. So long press your voice command button on your car, and maybe you can stop yelling at the S lady through the system's microphone, hoping that you will gain her attention. So
right.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. It's always, I use this a lot, and again, was traveling this week, so I was definitely using it. Depending upon what's going on in the car, especially if I've got like music playing or something like that, the S lady does not hear me very often. So using that button is like key.
It doesn't get her to stop saying, "I can't show you that in the car."
No. That's
like,
really no. This is a good. It's interesting when you put it on the list. It was like, oh yeah, I know that, but I don't know that. Like I know it intellectually, but I will yell at the car and be like, no, hey, and it's like, nope, I can just skip all of that headache and just hold down the voice button. Interesting. Yeah.
I do have a workaround for S lady not being able to tell me stuff in the car, and that is ChatGPT.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You can tell her to use it. Yeah.
Well, both ChatGPT, it's not telling Siri to use it. It's that ChatGPT, I mean, yes, it is that. In addition to that, ChatGPT and Perplexity, but as of this moment, I think not yet Claude, have updated their apps to support the voice, direct to app voice. Like those apps show up as a CarPlay app now. ChatGPT and Perplexity do.
Yeah, I didn't even do that. I just, when S lady comes back and says, I can't show you that, then I'll just change the phrasing to S lady, ask ChatGPT the same question, and then I actually get results.
That's also the way to do it, right? Is specifying ChatGPT. Yeah,
Are you listening, Apple engineering?
Yeah, they got a lot to work on. I'm looking here. Yeah, Perplexity's there in my CarPlay list, but so is ChatGPT, but Claude's not there. You can start a voice chat with Claude and then continue it while you're driving, but you got to unlock your phone and do all the things first. But Apple allowed that starting in 26.4. And obviously, apps have to update and probably even get a CarPlay. We just signed up for it for the Mac Geek Gab app, and a CarPlay entitlement. And maybe Apple hasn't granted Anthropic their CarPlay entitlement yet, just like us. Maybe get behind us.
There you go.
You're so entitled, Dave.
I feel entitled.
Do you have to pay for that, or is it just part of the development? You say put this in CarPlay as well.
Yeah, you don't pay for it, but like I can't even compile a version to test on my own without the entitlement. And there are pieces of the app experience that Apple is protective of. They don't want just anybody pushing out CarPlay apps. They want to make sure you're doing it. And it's like, and I had to answer some questions. What are you using it for? What frameworks are you going to use? How are you going to use it? What's the experience going to be like? Are you a mapping app? Are you an audio app? I mean, obviously, we're the latter, but yeah, they're protective of it. And I understand why. So
yeah.
Lawyers.
Yeah, entitlements, Pete, are basically little permissions that are granted for access to certain APIs that are closer to or interact directly with the operating system.
Yeah.
So Apple, you're sandboxed, and if you want to kind of go outside the sandbox, they have a mechanism where you can request, like, I need an entitlement for XYZ. I want to access this feature. And then they'll vet you and kind of grant you access if you're doing something that they're okay with.
Yeah. It does remind me, I wasn't sure if I was going to rant about this week or not, but it turns out I am. The latest update, actually the latest two updates to our Mac Geek Gab iOS app now include video, meaning you can play the video of the podcast And it will start by playing audio. That's currently the experience. I'm toying with, is there a scenario where it should default to video? I don't know. I'm open to feedback, right? Like it's a discussion we can all have together. Feedback at macgeekgab.com, that is.
That's where I'd send it, to feedback at macgeekgab.com.
Me too, Pete. I'd send it to feedback at macgeekgab.com as well. And
so right now it starts with audio. If there's video for an episode, and there will be, I think I went back and re-encoded 1137 and forward. So pretty much every episode that everything current should have video, including this one, unless, we screw something up. And while you're playing it back, you just tap the video button and it jumps right to video at the spot that you are in the episode, and you can toggle back and forth, and it's all seamless, just like Apple's experience in their app. The difference, folks, is that Apple only allows that in the Apple Podcasts app if you host with a company that's on Apple's specific list, and you agree to have like dynamically inserted ads put in and all of those things. And I don't understand why they are gatekeeping this, because Dave, sitting on his couch with his laptop in low power mode, because I did this before I turned that off, was able to do all of the things. And it's using Apple's HLS standard, which is actually a great little standard. You chop up the video into 6-second chunks at different quality levels. And so it can just pull down whatever the right quality level is for your connection at the time. Like, it's really, really smart the way it just does all of this. And so it's streaming. You're not downloading. You can download it. I have it set so that if you want to download the video for offline viewing, you can do that too. But otherwise, you're just streaming it, and it's very bandwidth sensitive and friendly, and it starts really fast. It does all the things. And Dave coded this up. Actually, Dave didn't write a line of code. I just guided Claude to do it. And it works great. And Apple approved it in the store. And there are other podcast apps like Fountain and stuff that support the alternate enclosure tag with HLS, and they work great. I don't know why Apple is gatekeeping this out of the Apple Podcasts app. They could literally just turn it on. If we set up a separate Mac Geek Gab feed, like, so we have, Mac Geek Gab, and then we have Mac Geek Gab video, we could point the video at these URLs and it would work fine in Apple's app. They just don't support it for the same show at the same time, and I don't understand why. But anyway, you can have that experience for Mac Geek Gab in the Mac Geek Gab app, and it's free for you to use. So enjoy.
Sweet.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Why don't I take us to David, who has a tip to share. He says, I thought I would share a recent experience I had migrating my email archives dating back to 2002 in Fastmail. All of that email has been archived over time in yearly mbox files. I used the import mbox tool in Fastmail, and it worked perfectly. Until, that is, I came to 2021. There was something inside that mbox file from that year that the Fastmail importer choked on and failed repeatedly. Level support at Fastmail couldn't help. I resorted to using a Gemini-written Python-based terminal command to break apart that mbox file into smaller 1,000 email mbox files numbered sequentially, and then imported these smaller mbox files one by one until I found the one that contained the problematic email. I then broke that one into smaller mbox chunks and followed the same procedure. Took a while, yes, but I eventually landed at the problematic email, of course, which of course did not get imported. Don't get caught, and love the show, David.
Yeah, love that. Smart. That's great.
feels like Mac OS 9 system extension days. It's like the same troubleshooting methodology. It's like, turn everything off and then one by one turn things back on. It's almost like that, like finding that single email in thousands and thousands of emails. What a chore, but I guess sometimes you have to do it.
I wonder if this would have been so. Like, there's a conversation here to be had about sort of leveling up our usage of LLMs. And David, please forgive me and thank you for your trust in us having this conversation here, because what David did, it was really smart, right? Like asked the LLM to write this Python command to do this, like that. That's already a level up. Like it's not just using as a chatbot, using it as a tool to create some software, to do a thing, to solve your problem, bespoke software. Like I love this. That's great. I wonder though, if instead of having to break it up to find the instead of using software to break it up, what about just telling it, hey, write a script that's going to parse through this entire thing and find the problem? Like, I don't need to be the one finding the problem. Like, and right. This is the thing where, like, these LLMs are great tools at this, but they can't and won't think of all of the ways a problem could be solved. They will think of, enough of them until you just pick, say that's the one and let's do it. They rarely, it certainly as a single agent, will stop and say there's a better way to do this. That's still something that's in general, best left our human brains. And
they
then
will take you down deep rabbit holes.
They will
if you let them. Yeah,
that's the thing. And I mean, it reminds me, Adam, of like the co-coding that you and I would do, and not the writing of the code, but the conversations about it, right?
Yes.
Like, where it's like, okay, here's how I think I'm going to do it. And you would say, so that would work. Have you considered, right, approaching it from this thing? And we do that for each other. It like those conversations are so valuable because you just immediately, it's like, oh my gosh, well, that's a better way to do it. Now, in the past that would suck because it'd be like, except I wrote the code already to do it the way I thought, and now I have to throw that away and rewrite it. But today, that's not as much of an issue. It's like, well, tell the robot to rewrite it, spend some tokens, good to go.
Yeah.
So like stopping and thinking about this stuff and asking it, like in this scenario. But my brain is super wired for this for a lot of reasons. But it's like, no, that's not the most efficient way to solve this problem. Like, there's a better way, and it's constantly, refining and refining and refining.
Well, two things I've found I've been doing more and more lately. Like, not just like writing the code, but exactly like you were just referring to, using it as something to help brainstorm or think through the problem at hand. So I will often now say, hey, this is the problem that I have, or this is the thing that I'm trying to solve. Here's what I'm thinking, basically, and just literally have a conversation like that. I'm thinking I should probably do this. Is this a good approach? Are there other ways to go about this? Or do you have any recommendations? Or is this the right, is this the right path? Is there anything I'm not thinking of? You can ask all of these things and get a lot of good feedback. So I've been doing that a lot lately. And then the other thing is also questioning when it goes back, or even better yet, asking it to explain why it picked a particular approach. So it might come back and say, well, you should do A, B, and C. And it's like, well, why?
Yes.
And that really helps learn. And also, oftentimes it'll be like, yeah, well, you could also maybe do this. And so you can work through the like back and forth. I was doing this recently with a project I was working on, and I was going to be loading. Basically, it's a Google mapping thing, and we were going to be using GeoJSON files with Google Maps to basically build a tool. Store locator is what it actually is, and I was worried about the file size, right? Because the GeoJSON files was going to have roughly 300 to 500 locations or stores.
Sure.
And it's like, well, if you gzip this and we're going to just, load it, it'll get cached and edge cached and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, well, do we need additional caching? Should this be in Redis? Should this be other things? And we went back and forth. We just had a conversation. It was determined, no, for this size, you're probably good up to, maybe 5,000 stores. And then if it gets above that, you're going to have to worry about this stuff. So just even solving things like that, it's great.
I've been, I don't know. Did I mention in the show that it turns out I'm one of those people, I am a lost Canadian. I because of my lineage, I now, since a new ruling in Canada, that's a clarifying ruling or something, I qualify as a Canadian citizen, and so you can fill out a form and send it in and get your citizenship papers, and then from that you could get a second passport and all that stuff. And so we've been doing this. I figured, I don't know that I'll ever need it, but if one of my kids wants to get a job in Canada or something, like, why not have that door open? And so I had Claude Code working through it. Ours is not, it's fairly simple, but my great-grandfather, who is the one who was born in Canada, there is no birth certificate for him. They simply did not issue them. So we have to pull together other evidence. And so I've been using Claude CoWork on my Mac to kind of be the project manager of this. You point it at a folder of data and have it manage things, and it's been great. And I'm now at the point where we're going to submit. Like, probably by the time this episode comes out, we will have submitted our thing, and then it'll be like a year before it's actually processed, because there's tens of thousands of people, in line ahead of us, and that's fine. So last night I took here's what I'm going to submit, and I created an entirely new Claude CoWork session, pointed it at only that folder, so it couldn't see any of the backup work that we'd been doing for the last 3 weeks about this. And I just said, hey, I think my kids and I qualify for this here, under this new ruling. I've put this application together. Please let me know what you think. Do we actually qualify? And if so, the application. Now, mind you, this is after the first CoWork session had signed off and said, you're good to go. And it came back, it took it 20 minutes. It crunched through it. It came back and it's like, you definitely qualify. However, there's some tweaks that you're going to need to make to the application because there's some inconsistencies here. And it's like, yep. So, just having it check its own work is
who wrote
also,
those inconsistencies?
Right. But it did give itself a compliment. It was like, your letter of explanation is candidly better than every letter of explanation that any attorney would have put together. So it's like, oh, well, you just complimented yourself. That's great. But it really did help. Like, and doing that, just getting different. And when people are talking about using multiple agents on projects, this is a very simple example of it, where it's like, okay, now I have the grunt doing the work, and now I brought in the quality control agent to take a look at the work and look at it blindly and evaluate it. And then I could fire up another one, because now this one knows too much. Like, now I need to have some, and I will. I'm going to have another one come in and just like, okay, I'm coming in blind. I'm the act, and that's what I will tell it. Act like you are the immigration examiner in Canada, whatever that office is called. Go do your thing. And like, I've done this with sales proposals. I've done this with it's rare that I do something where I don't have some sort of agent assisting me. So anyway. Yeah.
Not to take us down too far rabbit hole.
We're in it.
The other thing to look into, if you have repetitive processes or procedures that need like vetting and stuff like that, is to look at creating or even having Claude help you create skills. So at work, one thing that we have to often do is, if we identify a change that we want in our core software, we can submit what's called a minor change request, an MCR. And there are specific rules about what qualifies as an MCR, and they're like documented, right? So we have a document that says has to meet this criteria, these rules, and when you submit it, you have to include specific bits of information and details in things. So there's all these rules around it. There's a specific way you're supposed to write them. There's a specific way you're supposed to submit them. So I was like needing to write one recently, and I worked on this skill to like build it, and now I can share that with other people in my company. And basically what it does is you say, hey, I'm thinking about submitting this minor change request for ABC, describe what you're saying, and it will not only help you write it, but then it also will review it and vet it and say, chances are if it's like this, it's going to get rejected because of A, B, and C, or hey, this totally doesn't even qualify as this. It needs to be just a submitted project, and so you can like not waste the time of submitting something that you just know is going to get rejected, right? Because it either doesn't qualify, doesn't meet the criteria, or it will also then help you make sure that you craft it in a way that it has all of the required information so that it's not going to get rejected and it will get accepted. So it's like great for that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, having it like, I mean, it's similar to what I just am doing with the Canadian thing. It's like, I want you to tell me what's wrong with this before I show it to the person who's going to make the decision. Because once they've made their decision, it like, if somebody looks at something like, what are your minor change requests and says, oh yeah, this is great, lets it through. There might be a little something that you like slip past the goalie there or whatever, but it's fine. Whereas if they see it and stop it for something, now the next time you submit, it's going to get much deeper scrutiny, generally speaking, human nature, right? So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing is they get ones submitted all the time that don't meet criteria, and it's very frustrating for them. So then they start to take a posture of, well, this person's constantly just annoying us with stuff they're wasting our time, right? So you also don't want to waste other people's time with something. And so again, the skill will even tell you, hey, no, probably the proper way to do that is that's more of a customization. You should just submit it as a customization for this specific customer, that sort of thing. So it's pretty cool.
It. Yeah, that's pretty smart. I love this. All right, we can come out of the rabbit hole now. We need it. No, we'll go in a different rabbit hole. But we did get in the meantime, as we're sort of coming to the surface here before we go deep, we did get a review in this week, right, Pete?
We did, yeah. So Jamcycler wrote in with 5 stars. Woohoo! Not 3, not 4, 5. You need to do this too, people, because it helps spread the show. He writes in, my favorite podcast. Thanks for welcoming submissions and sharing such great content week after week. Mac Geek Gab is the only podcast I listen to consistently, and I always get so much out of it. I coach Mac users. Most of my consumption of the show is while bicycling, my primary means of transport, including to visit clients. This energizes me to do my best work by getting exercise and fresh air, learning along the way, and discovering new tips and resources to benefit us both. Don't get caught missing out on learning at least 5 new things about your Apple ecosystem. Listen to the Mac Geek Gab.
Woohoo! Love that.
Thank you, Jamcycler.
Nice.
That's great. Sweet. MacGeekGab.com/review is where you can go to do that, or tap the review button in the app, and it will bring you as close as we can get you to being able to leave a review for the show. Sweet. All right. We have many questions from you that we are going to attempt to answer or at least discuss, and we'll do that shortly here. The next thing that we would love to do is tell you about our sponsors. And look, we've all been there, right? Anybody who's ever tried to securely share a login with a coworker knows the drill, right? We know we're supposed to protect our passwords, but then you start making bad choices, right? You end up DMing it, pasting it in a doc, or worse. I've been testing our sponsor Keeper here for a few weeks, and their Keeper for Teams helps really solve that, among all the other things that like Keeper does. With Keeper, you share access without ever sharing the actual password. You control who sees what. You revoke access in one click when somebody rolls off the project, and sensitive logins stop living in screenshots and Slack threads. And that, folks, is a real solve. And the foundation underneath is exactly what you'd want. Zero knowledge encryption, meaning Keeper itself never sees your passwords, only you do. Autofill, Face ID, auto-generated passwords across iOS, macOS, and every browser. Best-in-class protection that just runs in the background while you get on with your day. Don't get caught still reusing the same passwords since 2014. Right now, Keeper is offering you, our listeners, 60% off personal and family plans at keepersecurity.com. keepersecurity.com/MGG. This offer is only for you, our listeners. That's keepersecurity.com/MGG for 60% off personal and family plans. Make sure you use our link so they know that we sent you. That's keepersecurity.com/MGG. Go check it out. I think you're going to like what you find. And our thanks to Keeper for sponsoring this episode. And I think a lot of us know when you start a new project, a new venture, a podcast, a side business, anything, you suddenly become the IT department, the marketing team, the accountant, the customer support line, all at the same time. Wearing every hat can be really exhausting. It can be rewarding too, right? But the thing that fixed that for me with my merch business and another one of my podcasts was our sponsor, Shopify. I'm not exaggerating when I say we should sell some stuff to our first actual sale in less than a day. From idea to yup, that ka-ching. Here's why it works. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And yeah, that includes household names, right? But it also includes folks just like you and me figuring it out. Hundreds of ready-to-use templates so that your store actually looks like your brand. AI tools are baked right in that write your product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photos. Their award-winning 24/7 support is right there. I've been loving using Shopify for all my stuff. If Shopify offered that, like, run my entire life plan, I think I'd be on the annual tier already. Don't get caught wearing every hat alone. Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing ka-ching. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/MGG. Go to shopify.com/MGG. Check it out. I really think you're going to like it. That's shopify.com/MGG. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. And hey, if you're running a business and you've ever cobbled together payroll out of spreadsheets, a tax form PDF, and a quiet sense of dread, there is a better way to live, folks. I know, because I've done it, and I've seen friends run their businesses that way, right? Refreshing the IRS website at midnight on the 15th, hoping they got the math right. That's not running a business. That's signing up for a recurring headache. Our sponsor, Gusto, is online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It's all-in-one, remote-friendly, and incredibly easy to use. So you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. Automatic payroll tax filing, simple direct deposits, health benefits, workers' comp, 401k, you name it, Gusto handles it with options for nearly every budget. Plus, unlimited payroll runs for one flat monthly price. No hidden fees, no surprises, and switching is quick. Just transfer your existing data and get up and running fast. You don't pay a cent until you run your first payroll. And it's ranked #1 on G2's highest satisfaction products list for 2026, trusted by over 400,000 small businesses. Don't get caught running your business on duct tape and PDFs. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/MGG and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/MGG. One more time, gusto.com/MGG. Check it out. I think you're going to like what you see. And our thanks to Gusto for sponsoring this episode.
Outstanding. Gino wrote in with some questions.
All right.
With a question, I should say. And,
all right.
I'm going to read it now. He says, I'm an old-time premium listener, and I love the podcast and YouTube channel. Adam has been a great addition, and Pilot Pete, your comic relief is great. Most of the time. My question, can I create a shortcut to disconnect a set of AirPods Gen 3 Pros from my Apple One MacBook Pro without opening system settings and clicking disconnect? Thanks, Gino.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. I too enjoy your comic relief most of the time, Pete. No, really. It's great that we get to do what we do. As to this question, yes, but not with shortcuts alone. I took a look, and at least I couldn't find an action in shortcuts pre-built for this. So I can think of 2 ways to do this. The first is easy, and it'll cost you $5. unless you have setup, in which case you're already paying for it. It's called Tooth Fairy, all one word. And it's from the folks at C Command Software, which I believe is Michael Tsai, who makes Spam Sieve, among other things. Do I have that right, Adam?
I don't remember. It's funny you said Tooth Fairy because I was just pulling up Setapp to look for the app. I didn't see the notes, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Tooth Fairy will do that."
And you can, and I'll put a link in the show notes, of course, to Tooth Fairy, but also their page of the documentation where it describes that you can specifically set a hotkey to toggle this on and off, right? So that's going to be your easiest solution, I think. If you want to go do it yourself, and I love DIY approaches, you can use Homebrew or any other package manager to install BlueUtil, BlueUtil, and then BlueUtil will give you command line access to all of this stuff, and you could build an automator action or a shortcut that runs an Apple script that runs a terminal command. Like all that glue now comes together now that you have a terminal command that can do this. Or with slightly more friction than the first one and a lot less friction than the second one, there is in Control Center that Bluetooth module, right? So, Adam, you actually have AirPods connected right now, so you could. Well, I don't want you to disconnect them, but like if you go to the Bluetooth module in, if you pop open Control Center and click on the little arrow next to Bluetooth, you should see all of your devices. Are your AirPods lit up in blue there, like they're connected, right?
Yeah, I mean they are in the menu bar.
That's what I mean. In the menu bar Control Center thing. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. That was the menu bar. So if you were to click, and probably don't do it, on because you'd stop hearing us. Yeah, you click on that and it would disconnect you. So that would be the inbuilt way to do it right there in the OS. You got to click. It's 3 clicks, right? Because you got to open up the menu bar controls. Yeah, and then you got to dig into Bluetooth, and then you're good to go. Right? I have that right, Adam?
But certainly easier than system settings.
Yeah, it's the sound input, menu item. And it's 2 clicks, I guess, technically. If you click the little, because I see my little AirPods icon instead of a speaker icon. And then under output, I could just disconnect the.
I didn't even think of that. I was literally bringing us to Control Center. You're bringing us to the sound icon, which is the other way to do this. Yes.
Yeah, it's just in the menu bar. If you have the, sound in your menu bar items, which you can toggle on with system settings, just clicking that gives you your, your volume control, and then you have your output options. And right now my AirPods are lit up in blue, and if I could just disconnect that.
Love that.
And I will remind folks that to quickly get there, you can press the Option key and then your volume up, volume down, or a mute key, any one of those 3, and it will take you to there directly.
What?
Yeah. Hold the Alt key.
To get to system
down.
settings.
Yeah,
yes,
get to system settings.
That's right.
Input, output. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. I like that. Right. Yeah. Option and then any one of
in any one of the volume keys, the mute, volume down, or volume up will take you immediately to your input and output sound.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
I think.
No, that's right. I like it. Huh.
And if you hold that Option key and hit your brightness up or brightness down, it takes you to your display settings immediately. So,
Look at that.
Option is a powerful key. Use it wisely, folks.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. This is like bonus quick tips left and right. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. Paul has a question.
You were right.
Go ahead. Sorry,
you were right, Dave. The developer of Spam Sieve is the same, or Spam Sieve, I guess is the right way to say that. Same developer as Tooth Fairy.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Cool. Yeah. Paul has a question for us, Pete.
Yes.
He says,
Oh, go ahead.
I am tech support for my family. I've been trying to use messages to start screen sharing and running into issues getting it to work. So my question is, what do I tell my family to do? Family members have Mac Minis. One is an Intel-based. The other is an M4. I usually try to start with a messages conversation and then have them share my screen from that conversation menu. This doesn't seem to connect very often, and it definitely doesn't, quote unquote, just work. What do I do? What steps should I have them take to make this process better?
So, and for what it's worth, that was from our Discord help desk.
Woohoo.
I don't know, what do you call that? Category, I guess.
Yeah.
Is in there. So, yeah. And so there were two answers in there, neither one of which was mine. Soccer Hallways wrote in, I've been using Jump Desktop. And I really like Jump Desktop. I'm still using it, although SetApp support for that went away. So it's now kind of on legacy, and I'm sure it's going to break with an update at some point in the near future. You can't get it if you don't already have it installed through SetApp. And Ben wrote in, he says, MacCast has discussed, that would be Adam, repeatedly on the show. I find Apple's implementation of screen sharing still pretty inaccessible to folks who don't know where to look for that notification that enables the connection. Instead, I use Tailscale. Add your family members to your Tailnet so you know their direct IP address, and then use screen sharing to connect directly. And I will say that I prefer Ben's solution. I use that to control my Mac Mini from all over the planet. So,
were we talking actual control or just screen sharing? So the two questions I have on this is, and then secondarily, was it just Mac, or is it also needing to screen share iOS devices?
I mean, it was
tech support for family. So
the conversation sort of evolved. Yeah. So it could be any of the above, but yeah.
Because I think, Zoom is a pretty good solution. If you're just talking about being able to look at someone's screen, you're not going to get
control with Zoom.
I don't think on iOS though, can you?
Oh, not on iOS. No.
But I think you can still screen share. I think you still might be able to screen share an iOS device on Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't use it that frequently.
Yeah.
But I agree on the messages thing. I could never get my mom to click the right button on messages to even share her screen. It's like trying to describe it. It's like, and then it gets frustrating because it's like a chicken and egg problem, because it's like, if I could just see your screen, I could show you where it was, but I can't see your screen.
Yep. Yep. And yes, you can share when you go to when you're on your iPhone, you choose share content when you're in a Zoom call, and then you can share your screen. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Zoom looks pretty good, and even the free version, I mean, it's time limited, but I think you can do all the features.
I think Zoom, I'm thinking about all the ubiquity of Zoom probably puts it at the top of my list here, because almost everyone has Zoom. Like whenever I'm doing a podcast that, with a guest or whatever, like I do guests on Geek Gab all the time. It's rare, but sometimes we can't get StreamYard, which is the engine that we typically use, to work. And it's like, whenever that happens, I'll give it 5 minutes, and then it's like, all right, ripcord, do you have Zoom? And they're like, yeah, I have Zoom. Like, great. And then we just go into Zoom and we're done. And, everybody has it. Everybody already has it configured. They've, the do you hear me thing tends to go away pretty quickly in Zoom. So, yeah. 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 But I mean, I love Tailscale. Like for my computers, great.
Oh, yeah.
For having family install Tailscale. And it's not going to work for iOS. Like you can't screen share to iOS with Tailscale.
Yeah. Yeah, right. iOS is the big challenge. I think, I believe Apple stuff is the only thing where you could actually, I think you can now control iOS devices, right, remotely if the person allows it.
Yes. Yes.
For a long time, you couldn't. Apple had that feature with their support. It was always frustrating. It's like,
well, if
Apple support can do it, like we have to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's clearly doable. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. When I was thinking family, I'm thinking like my wife's iMac, not
Yes.
Not like now my mother-in-law, I need to put her laptop on tail scale so I can help more than not. But
no, the nice part about doing it with tail scale, and yeah, if it's like a family member or anyone that you're helping repeatedly, adding them to your tailnet, and there are, like, when you add somebody to your tailnet, depending on how you do it, they might then also have the ability to see your devices. So, eyes wide open. But for somebody like that, Pete, I agree. Tail scale is the way to go, because then you don't even need their permission each time. Like, once you've set it up, you can just screen share like it's your computer. So as long as you have their login. So, yeah. And that obviously makes life way, way easier. So,
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Should we
Well,
move on to Barb's question?
let's go.
All right. So Barb writes in, my friend has an iPhone 17 Pro Max. She is constantly turning the ringer off by mistake because of the way she holds her phone or the way she picks it up. She seems to keep hitting the little button above the volume buttons on the left side of the phone. Is there any way to change the job that this button does? The old slider was much better. Thanks for your help in this matter, Barb. Boy, I never thought of that as being an issue, but I can see why.
And you have to hold it down. I don't think just tapping it makes a difference, right? When you hold it down, you get a little visual notification on the screen that says hold it, or when you tap it, you get the visual notification that tells you hold it down. But the good news is, now that it's not just a toggle, you absolutely can customize what this thing does. And the world is your oyster, right? Apple calls that the action button. And if you go into settings, action button, you can change it to almost whatever you want in addition to silent mode, which is what you're talking about here. It's got like focus, visual intelligence. You can have it do a voice memo or Shazam. There are controls, and they are user selectable. Shortcuts are user selectable, so you can build a shortcut to do something. And then when you hold that button in, it will launch your shortcut, whatever your shortcut is. You can there's accessibility features that you can set with it, or you can simply set it to no action and make it a worthless button. I always forget about, like, unless I am I usually assign it to a shortcut and I'll use it for a little bit and then forget about it. It was a nice reminder of the action button. So, yepper.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. You got to hold it about a second is what I just was playing with. But
yeah. It'll tell you if you didn't hold it long enough. Like it's Apple's pretty good about that stuff. All right. What's next, Pete?
Well, Roger wrote in. He says, Comcast has been saying for over a year already that they're going to eliminate their email service by the end of 2026, but they will not tell us when I have to make the change. I desperately need to keep my email because I have so many sites that it is linked to. Comcast says we can keep the same address that we have by linking into Yahoo Mail through their process once we get the word from them that I can do my email address. There's no employee that can tell me when, and I may miss the notice that when they send it. In the meantime, scammers are sending me emails all the time, and I looked this up. This is apparently our thing, telling me to change by clicking here in their email. He says, but he says, when I check the sender email, they're from Gmail or Hotmail or Outlook or any other domain, so I know they're fake. Is there another way out there that I can switch and keep my existing email address and save all my links to my important banks, loans, websites, etc.? I can't stand waiting around for Comcast to play this waiting game, and if I miss their notice, I can't understand why they can't help me with a better way to do business. Roger.
So Roger is right that Comcast is transitioning out of the email business, but they are partnering with Yahoo to salvage the Comcast.net domain and keep everybody's email address alive. And according to, I don't know why a Comcast employee can't tell you because they have a website. Actually, maybe I just answered my question. But no, I actually know I know many Comcast employees and they're all great people. But the website says starting in June 2025, customers with a Comcast Net email will be invited. But Invitations will roll out gradually through 2026, and when the time comes, you'll see yours in your inbox or when you securely sign in to connect.xfinity.com. So I would put it, if I were in your scenario, and I'm thankful that I'm not, I would put it on my calendar once a month to log into connect.xfinity.com and see if I am ready to, or my account is ready to be migrated to Yahoo. And I would do that when you get the option. However, what I would do, there is no other way to do this. You cannot accelerate the process. You can't move it to a different provider because you don't own the domain Comcast.net. Xfinity owns that. And so what you need to wait until they tell you what you can do with your account on their domain. And I'm saying these words that way very specifically and intentionally because you want to own your own domain. I know you have a lot of logins that are tied to your Comcast.net email, and this is exactly why now is the second best day to get your own domain. The first best day would have been before you signed up for Comcast email because you wouldn't be in this position. So register a domain. Go to your favorite domain registrar. I like Cloudflare, but I'm a nerd. You can use GoDaddy. You can use Namecheap. You can use all kinds of things. Apple doesn't partner with one, right? But whatever I don't think. But whatever you use, then just assign that as a custom domain on your iCloud email. You could assign it to any provider you want. But the important part is that you're going to start using your email address at your domain, and then you can use it with whatever provider you want. If Apple, 5 years from now says we're going to stop hosting custom domains, that's fine. I mean, it would be weird, but fine. You just move to a different email host and nothing else needs to change. All of your accounts and people that have your address and all of that stuff know your address at your domain. And that will never change unless you stop paying for your domain renewal fees, which should be about, $10, $15 a year. So yeah, go get your own domain. And Apple makes it super easy to host your email from your domain at iCloud. So that's my advice to all of you. Don't get caught by this scenario.
Right. And wasn't it? I was using. Got to mention my guess. I was using Namecheap, and you found Cloudflare is even cheaper as a registrar.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Cloudflare.com is the place to register your own domain and take control.
Yeah. Just take control. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I said, Namecheap, GoDaddy, they all, it's what they do. And some of those will host your email for you too. Like there's plenty of options, and that's kind of the point I'm trying to make.
Sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Cool Stuff Found is out now. Bartender 6 or Pro or Mega is out, and I've been using it for a little while. I was using the beta version for a little bit, and Bartender is the app that manages things in your menu bar, which is especially helpful if you have a laptop, and have to contend with the camera notch, because managing all of those things and having Bartender lets you have kind of your primary menu bar, and then you can click it and get a sub menu bar, and it's really, really cool. They, in Bartender 6.5 that is out now, or whatever, it's Bartender 6, Bartender Pro. Bartender Pro is what's out now. Add something called Top Shelf, which actually feels like it makes the notch usable space on your screen. When you float up to it, the notch sort of expands open, and it'll show you things like background tasks. Like if an app is doing something in the background, it'll show a progress bar up there or a progress indicator, I want to say. If music's playing, it'll show that. And then when you float there, you can have it do a lot of different things. There's you can drag it can be like Yoink, right? Where you drag a file to it, and it'll hang out there, and then you can drag the file out of there into a different app later. You can have it's got a clipboard manager in there. You can have your calendar in there. You can have the weather in there, and it all just sort of appears when you float your when you float your mouse over the notch. So it's very cool. It's worth going to their website and looking at their. It's they call it Dynamic Island for the Mac, right? It's a fun experience. I've been stoked about it. So yeah, cool stuff found. Fun.
Nice.
That's my first thing. That's what I got to start with.
There
You guys got some
merch.
you got an Apple Vision Pro case, right? You each got the same one from Syntech, I think, right?
Yes, and I love that thing. You want to talk, Adam?
No, you start.
Okay, the case is so well thought out, and here's the thing: being a cheap airline captain, I don't want to spend money on a case for the Vision Pro. But then I went, I spent so much money on the Vision Pro, I want a nice case to protect that thing. And this thing does just that. It's compact. It is capable of, but it's hard case enough to protect the Vision Pro. It's got two Velcro straps, one to hold the main unit itself down and the other one to hold the battery and plug in place, a little extra pouch to put any accessories in, a carrying handle. Fits nicely inside my backpack, but I'm able to pull everything out, especially on an airplane, pull everything out and have my own home theater whilst traveling.
And it looks like it's built to support either of Apple's headbands, right? Like it'll fit your other thing. And it's only $46. Yeah. I love that. That's great. Hard carrying case. Yeah. You're liking it too, Adam?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. For the cheap people out there, if you want to go really cheap, I think I mentioned this before. I just needed something, and I was looking around my house, and my daughter had left her soft-sided, lunch pail.
Yeah.
Like a $5, $10. You probably get them $15 at Walmart, and that's what I was using for my Vision Pro. Not a lot of external protection. It's got a little bit of padding on it, but
sure.
Obviously soft-sided. So I like that this is hard-sided. It's got kind of a nice, I would almost call it, not linen. What am I thinking of? Canvas-like texture to the outside of it. But I'm with Pete. I like the compact size. It's not a lot bigger than the Vision Pro itself, but it has a lot of space. And I like the little slot. So it's got a slot for your battery. It's got a slot for the charger brick, and then another slot where you can throw your cable. And I think it'll still work too. It's got even a little notch if you want to leave the cable attached to the Vision Pro. There's a little notch at the back end of the battery so it can loop around.
Wow.
I also like there's a Velcro strap to hold it over. The other thing is it was kind of nice. It came with, I was looking at what they call it. They call it a eye mask. So it has a little cutout piece that you can put over the lens area at the front of it to protect that side of it too. It could be cut a little bit better. It was kind of hard to get in there. So that's a small, tiny complaint. Again, this is kind of a first look. I don't know, we just got these, so who knows long-term longevity. It feels like it's going to last a long time.
Yeah.
Time will tell. So we may have to come revisit in a year or so after I've been using it, but then it's got a little pouch for extra storage. So like the extra headband, and you're absolutely right. It will work with either headband. I splurged and bought the new headband for my older, the dual strap one for my older,
for your OG.
Yeah, but then you still have the slot at the top of the case where you can put other accessories, a few other things, and so that's where I have the other headbands and stuff like that in that area. And yeah, I nice handle on it, easy access, cool. Just flips totally open. I can't complain. It's a really nice case.
That's great.
It's not gonna break the bank.
No, $46. I love that. Yeah.
I will add that slot is zippered, so I put an air tag in there in the unlikely event my case wanders off. It gives me at least a little bit of time to help track it down.
Smart. Smart. That's great. Or or to remind you if you left it behind somewhere too. Like that's, the AirTags are equally good at that. Cool.
It'll notify you about the time you get out through the security gate.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It was last seen at gate B6. Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned recently that I realized I needed air purifiers everywhere. And now that I have them, I realize I need them in all the places. And I recently put another one in my office. And this is probably the coolest one that I have checked out yet. It's the Mila. Mila 3, Mila is the air purifier. And it's a HEPA purifier. It does the thing that HEPA purifiers do, right? It filters the air. Many of the I mentioned how it was valuable to have a smart one that could sense the quality of the air so that it could ramp up when it needs to. And this, of course, has that. But it has a ton more sensors in it. It has like a CO2 sensor, and like it does all kinds of room monitoring, local outdoor air tracking, so it knows like when it might need to ramp up. It's very cool. It's kind of like it's not kind of. It is like it builds in like a whole comprehensive monitor in there, in addition to just the air particles, right? So it tracks the PM1, PM2.5, P10, PM10, humidity, temperature, VOCs, CO2, and CO, all in there, and it tracks them like in real time, and also lets you see a history of it. So, pretty cool little thing, and they've got they've got them for two sizes of rooms. The smaller one, the Mila Air Mini, starts at $229, and the Mila Air 3, which is the one I'm using, is $399. It has all the stuff in it, so pretty good. I'm impressed with just all the sensors. I mean, I'm a nerd, so I like my sensors. Yeah, it's good. Greg, on the subject of air purifiers, Greg wrote in, and he said he tried the Air Versa that we mentioned, and he says, I like that it worked with HomeKit and setup was a breeze, but I think I need an even larger one. That Air Versa one is massive. He says, so I went with a Honeywell that has 3 HEPA filters inside it, plus a carbon filter, and you can get another optional pet odor filter in there too. He says it does, of course, have an air quality sensor that will set it all up. And he says, I got it for $250. So he says, I highly recommend it if you need another large one. So that is the Honeywell Allergen Plus. And we'll put links to all of these in the show notes. So depending on what your needs are and where you want to go. And it looks like that one is available, Amazon or Walmart. So thanks for that, Greg. That's great stuff. Fun. Where are we on time? Do we have other things to talk about? Do we have anything? I want to. I'm hearing hesitation, so I'll fill the dead air.
There you go.
I wanted to give some love to Eufy. They aren't paying us to say this, but we review a lot of different things, and obviously from a lot of different brands, and we'll continue doing that, of course. But I was looking the other day, and I was setting up the mower again for this season, which is a Eufy mower, and it has gotten so much smarter since last year, like the software on it and all that stuff. But going into the Eufy app, I realized, man, we test a lot of things here, and look at all of the Eufy things that I wind up using for my smart home stuff. Like, their vacuums seem to be the ones that just they're the smartest, they last. Like, other companies make good ones. Like, there's nothing wrong. But it just was an interesting observation that I made, that it's like, okay, I joke, but it's true. I lead a fairly charmed life, and I kind of have the option to use a lot of these different things. And I just gravitate. It's like Eero, right? With the Wi-Fi. It's what I gravitate back to every time. And the Eufy stuff, I didn't realize it, But because somebody was asking me, they're like, "Oh, what vacuum you have?" I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're using the Roborock. It's like, actually, no, we're using the Eufy. We're using it. It's always like it's coming back to that, and they're kind of a sleeper brand. I mean, they're an Anker brand, right? They're from the company Anker. We fell in love with Anker when their chargers actually would like hold the charge and do their job, which is
right.
Yeah.
I can add to that a little bit, Dave. We've got the doorbell. I went away from the Ring doorbell because the Eufys have the ability to store your video on site, and you don't have to pay an annual subscription fee to keep your data in your house.
Yeah.
I have one that's hardwired in to our front door, and I have another one that runs on the battery because there is no hardwire to the doorbell, and including in a backyard camera, and those both store video on a little box that I keep under my TV in Florida. No, that's not different. It's a different one. I was going to say that has an air sensor too on the thermostat, but I don't have the Eufy thermostat. Yeah. Never mind.
Were you going to add to that, Adam?
No, I don't have any. I don't have a lot of smart home stuff anymore.
Yeah,
I did at my old place, and I haven't really looked into updating yet. So, might have to start to look into it.
It's impressive. It was kind of I didn't expect it. It was just like the realization of, this is something I use a lot. I like, this is worth mentioning on the show. This is why people, one of the reasons people listen is for our recommendations. I was like, practice what I use, practice what I preach. So
there you go. One of my best friends, his daughter married an Englishman who is an engineer for Mercedes F1 and all that, and he has set up his smart home, laughing about smart home and wanting to use it or not. She's a stand-up comedian and has a great routine about the fact that, she can't push a button or flip a switch anymore in their house to get the lights on or off or do anything else. But the worst part of that is the fact that it doesn't understand an American accent. So
my son set up his apartment. He lives there solo. Yeah. That he never touches a switch when he moves from room to room. He has motion sensors that will turn on the lights in whatever room most recently sensed motion and turn off the lights everywhere else. Now, obviously, when we went to visit him recently, we got there and he was like, "Oh yeah, I spent an hour while you guys were on your way setting up guest mode." He's like, because I needed it to not just follow me around. He's like, I needed lights to sort of stay on.
If you're in the other room,
if there's been motion in the last 5 minutes in a room, he's like, I had to make it so that the lights stay on. But can
I insert a chip under my daughter's skin or something that turns the lights off when she leaves her room or bathroom?
I mean, you could just put a motion sensor in the bathroom and then that's it. Like, I remember when they first put motion sensors in at Citibank when I worked there, which is now, it's like 100 years ago. My desk was in a cubicle outside of my boss's office, essentially. And every now and then, they came in one weekend and installed all the things. And it happened the first day, and then it happened pretty much every day after that. He'd call me, "David, hey, can you come in here?" And I'd go in. "We have Roy, what's up?" He's like, "Great, okay." And the lights would turn on. He's like, "Yeah, the sensor doesn't reach my desk." He's like, "So I just need you to come in every now and then and wave your arms around." It was a super Dilbert moment. But
right.
It's like, all right. I mean, I was paid fairly well there. It was fine. Like, if that's what you're paying me to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I went from 5 days a week to 3 days a week there, he was like, "I have to be in the dark 2 days a week." I'm like, yeah, well, that's how it goes. Yeah.
Oh, there's.
So I guess the other question I had about Eufy stuff is, I think they kind of have mixed support, right, for HomeKit.
Yes, correct.
Are you guys using like HomeBridge to bridge the gap, or?
Yes, where necessary. For sure, I am using HomeBridge to be that bridge to HomeKit. But like, I don't. I with my doorbell, I think gosh, I can't remember. Some of my Eufy cameras are HomeKit compatible and some aren't, right?
Yep.
So, and I can't remember which is which because I am using HomeBridge to bridge the gap for the ones that aren't. But for like the vacuum and the lawnmower, I don't need, like, their app is a better experience than Apple's Home app ever could be for those devices. Like, I want, if I'm in there, I need the specifics of what's going on, not just like, hey, go vacuum or whatever, you know. So
yeah, no, I was thinking more for cameras and specifically you mentioned the doorbells, because I mean with HomeKit, you know, with HomeKit, obviously, because I have the higher Apple tier, right? You get storage and there's some other advantages on the video side that you wouldn't have to pay for. But it's not a deal breaker. I was just curious. You know, I like having as much integrated in HomeKit as possible, just because I find it convenient to have that sort of one place.
Yep. Where
everything interacts with, and just alerts and that sort of thing. I haven't done much with video cameras, honestly, so maybe it wouldn't matter, but it's just a thing I often think about when I'm, you know, because I'm in the Apple ecosystem and I like to stay in the ecosystem as much as possible because it just makes my life convenient.
My doorbell is, I'm saying that now. Is it not? I can't remember. It seems to be.
According to Copilot, none of the Eufy doorbells are currently HomeKit compatible. The cameras are. There's many cameras that are HomeKit.
No, you're totally right. This is I'm looking on my phone now. This is a HomeBridge driven doorbell,
which is fine.
It works great. Yeah,
and I've done it on a Raspberry Pi. You can do it. I'm sure you could run HomeBridge on your NAS.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to run HomeBridge.
Yeah, HomeBridge is great. Yeah, and really, what I need to do is move from HomeBridge to Home Assistant, because then I could do even more.
There you go.
Yeah. But you know, if it ain't broke, is kind of my thing. Not that there's anything wrong. Not that I have Home Assistant running on my network, and I use it for some very specific things. But I could just move everything into it. It's just it's going to be a lot of work.
It's just more. It's having to get more geeky. I mean, again, obviously, the nice thing about if you buy into the ecosystems, right? And I don't care. Mine's HomeKit, but if you want to be, Amazon Alexa, or you want to be whatever, you can buy into a single platform and make your life easier.
Yes, we are bought in. Our primary, like, our voice assistant platform in the house is the Amazon Alexa one. Like, just because it was the first one we had, and for the most part, it works great. And we have a bunch of, devices all over the place that in the house and even outside that we can kind of talk to and do the things that we want to do. And I wired Home Assistant into that. So if I need to run something that's like a super nerdy script, I can. It was a pain in the neck. It took me 3 hours in the middle of the night one night to set up the Amazon skill for Home Assistant and sign up for a developer account and all the things. But it's done, and So
the reality is we're nerds and we can do that stuff. It's just, again, like, people are listening. It's like, if you want, there's easy mode, and then there's hard mode. And if you want to do easy mode, that's great. But knowing that hard mode is available and you can kind of get all this stuff to connect and play together if you really want to. But there'll be some hair pulling moments.
Oh, I hated it. I wanted to set it up so that when we went out to get firewood at night, it would make all the lights outside go bright white for 5 minutes and then return to whatever their state was before. And my son and I were talking about it. So it was a partner, like, it was a team effort, which made it more fun, and I was like, all right, well, we got to wire up the thing so we can trigger it with the A lady, but the scripting part that's going to be smart and preserve the old values, that I think we can use Home Assistant for. And I didn't really know anything about Home Assistant other than I had it set up and wired into things, and because it'll auto detect your devices, and I just had it running for years. And so I told my son, I'm like, you want to take the Home Assistant part and I'll take the Amazon part. I said, that's kind of, splitting our skill sets, because he's a way better programmer than me. And I'm, like, good at the plumbing of the internet. Like, I've done a lot of that stuff. And he was like, great. And so, an hour later, he had his script running, and he's like, all right, yeah, like, look, it works. And he's like, when I press the button on the thing, we're good to go. He's like, so how are you coming along? And I'm like, yeah, almost there. He's like, great. Well, I'm going to go to bed. Let me know how that goes for you. 3 hours later, it was like, I gave the wrong job to the wrong person. I didn't, though. Like, if I had given this job to him, he could have figured it out too, but it would have taken him 6 hours because, he doesn't have all the experience with the plumbing of the internet that I do. So yeah, it was one of those things. But anyway, yep. All right.
You there?
I think it's time. Yeah, we can call it.
Yep.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for. It was nice to nerd out. We definitely had some nerd out moments this week, so I like that. It's fun. Make sure to check out the giveaway, mattgeekgab.com/giveaway, and sign up to win your Function 101 remote. Thanks to CashFly for providing all the bandwidth to get the show from us to you. It's not just the audio anymore because the video is being hosted on CashFly too in the app. That's where we're serving the HLS from. If you want more, Pilot Pete's got So There I Was. Adam's got the Debut Film Podcast. I've got Business Brain and Geek Gab, so you can listen to us as much as you like. There's years and years, decades of archives, in fact. And there's still archives of MacCast, right? Those are all still
There are, yeah. They're still up and running.
Yeah.
I got to figure out a long-term plan for that, but that's something for another day.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to all of our premium subscribers. You rock. Thank you. And yeah, good stuff. All right. What do we have
if
to
you
add?
really want, you can go listen to Mac Roundtable too. That's still out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's some good memories out there for sure. Yeah. Oh. All right. Well, hey Pete, I've got something to tell you.
What's that, Dave?
Don't get caught.
Made up. See ya.
Later.